Hello everyone, welcome to Cosmic Revelations. My name is Hunter. This is going to be part 3 of the Let Truth Shine Through series. This one's going to be a bit of a bombshell, so sit tight, get your popcorn, and get ready for a show. Again, before we start, I would like to emphasize that we focus on nothing but the truth here. We focus on prioritizing what's real over what's fake, making sure that there's no lies, miscommunication, false information being spread out there. And yes, some of the stuff about me, especially today, is going to be bad, but can't really control everything like that. I've made mistakes, a lot of them I regret, and some of them we're going to talk about today. So, today we're going to talk about cheating. I cheated on her. Absolutely, yes I did. I will not deny that. Do I wish I would have? No. Do I regret it? Yes. But she wants to go around lying about it, spreading misinformation, so here we are. She says that, well, first off, she admits to it being a setup. Her and one of her friends, we'll call her Jay, she says that she had suspicions of me and wanted to test to see if I was going to be loyal or not, or if I was going to cheat. So she texted her friend Jay, and, hey, can you test Hunter and see if he'll, fall for it or not? Yeah, sure. So she makes a new Snap account. They talk about this, they make a new Snap, and they add each other on it, and they start racking up Snap score to make it more believable. But, a little side note, she decided to make the account with her phone number linked to it. We'll get to that later. But they got a Snap account, racked up the Snap score, and then she added me off of it. So, the pictures that were being sent were fake. Me and this person were, they added me, started flirting with me right off the bat. I tried to deny it, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. And the entire time, my ex, Sharon, was, sitting right there over my shoulder. I was telling her the entire thing. I was telling her every detail. She could read the screenshots, the messages, whatever you want to call it. It was all right there in front of her. And then as it kept going on, I believe it was, they sent one picture. The pictures were fake. They were off of Google. And I was like, oh my god, that's disgusting. And I was laughing at it with Sharon. And she just kind of looked at it and she just lost all interest. Like at first she was all into it. She was like, let's make fun of them. Let's do this, let's do that. And then just dropped. Her interest just... And I kept telling her, I was like, well, don't you want to help me write a response? And she's like, no, I don't really care. And then she laid in bed, played on her phone. Okay. So then I'm carrying on the conversation. And granted, it did not go the greatest way, and I did cheat, but I went out of the bedroom and went into the bathroom because I was going to take a shit, and then while I was in there, right before I left, something in my head just switched. I took my phone out, I had my Snap up, and you can guess from there. She screenshotted it and sent it to Sharon, and then when I get back in the room, Sharon, I sit in my chair, get back on my game, and then she wraps her arms around me as if to give me a hug, around my neck, and then she's holding her phone right in front of my face, like right here, and there was my picture. So at that point, I knew I was screwed. I won't lie, back then, we got together in 2021, so that would have made me 18 or 19 at that time. So between 19 and 21 is when me and her dated, and wasn't fun. The cheating happened, I believe, within the first year or so of our relationship, year and a half. She freaked out. She went into the bathroom, called one of her friends, trying to get her emotions out. I definitely didn't help that. I kept trying to ask her to come out and talk to me. That pissed her off even more. And then from that point on, that's when our relationship truly crumbled, like bad. But that's that's how it happened. And I just want to touch up on some of the details that she said. So she admits to it being a setup with Jay. You know, I'm glad you can admit to that, because, you know, even though you still say that you told me that she offered it to you, but now you're saying that you asked her for it. So that's always nice. The pictures were fake, but she says that I thought it was a real person. Nah. I knew it was fake. I'm not retarded. I'm pretty sure I can tell what's real and what's fake. Even now, like, especially back then, but even more so now, it was obvious it was fake. I don't know why I did what I did, but it's the biggest mistake of my life. She says that I had sus behavior, such as I wouldn't let her use my phone, I was very defensive with certain questions, and I accused her of cheating. Well, yeah, I wouldn't let you use my phone because you wouldn't let me use yours. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I ain't got nothing to hide. I did some then, but not now. If you wanted to use my phone, you coulda. You know, you had your thumbprint in it, you had face recognition in it, you had open access to it. You probably knew all my passwords too. But you stopped letting me use your phone, you stopped letting me see your phone. You know, I would even ask you what you're doing, and you'd start, oh, I'm just texting, you know, I'm not anybody important, I'm just talking to people. There were times where things didn't line up, and you were starting to act shady, so I started acting shady too. You want to start it, I can finish it. That's just how I am. In that time, the times I wouldn't let her use my phone, I never had anything. I'm not smart, I'm not dumb enough to save shit like that. Like, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop the bomb right here. She thinks I only cheated on her that once. That is wrong. I cheated on her twice, depending on how you look at it. I sent pictures with another person on 2 different occasions, but it was the same person. But that was way after the fact of this. After the fact that I knew our relationship was pretty much over and it was spiraling downhill. Do I regret those as well? Absolutely. Do I wish I would have done them? No. But I take them back 100%, because I regret who they was with. And I regret everything about it, for that matter. But, no. She doesn't know the whole thing. And now, everyone does. Will they ever know who it was? No. But, I do. And, doesn't matter. I regret what I did, and I apologize for it. And I have learned, and I've changed. She was rightfully suspicious. She also added up, I can't forget that. She was rightfully suspicious. During the time when all this happened, no, you weren't. No. Me and you were still okay. Me and you were still doing our stuff. There was no reason to suspect me of cheating at that time, because I wasn't. You know, Jay helped her and made the fake account. They racked up the snap score. She says that she told me to just troll them and to block them and that it would be funny. No, Sharon, that was me. I was the one like, oh my god, we could troll them, we could get them for everything they got, you know, blah 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 blah. And she's like, what's the point? And that's when she started losing interest. So you're not gonna sit here and claim that you're the one who said that, when that's not at all the case. She said, all of a sudden, after that time, I stopped giving her updates. Well, yeah, because you stopped caring. You told me you didn't care, you weren't interested, you just started acting all mopey-dopey. So I stopped telling you what was going on. You didn't seem like you cared. Her rendition of it was that I put on black pants, I went to take a shit. If I remember correctly, they were gray pants. But anywho, yes, I did put on pants, and I did go to take a shit. And she... Let's see here. Another comment. This one. She says she feels bad for Jay because she had to see my junk. Interesting. Well, funny enough, Sharon, wouldn't you like to know that Jay actually saw my junk long before you did? I mean, Back then, me and her sent pictures, and obviously that didn't work out, and we just kind of forgot all about it. But I saw pictures and videos of her, and she saw pictures of me long before you did. So I don't really know what to tell you with that. And plus, you always had a lot to say about my junk. I mean, I never heard one complaint during the majority of it. You know, not to try to go there, not to be weird, but you wanted to go there, I'll do it too. She recalled how she showed me the phone correctly, but she says that she stayed calm, or she says that I freaked out though. That's partially true. Obviously, back then, it was a heat of the moment. Somebody pulls this thing right in front of your face, and you don't even really know why or how you did it. You're gonna freak out. I won't deny that. But it wasn't me sitting there wandering around, oh my god, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. No. I just kind of got a little defensive, and I wasn't really answering questions wholly truthfully. You know, I was giving half-truths, hiding little bits where I could, but it didn't work. And again, I know this is wrong, and I regret it, and I have changed a lot. She made note that it happened while engaged and pregnant with my demon baby, and put a caption saying, he should never be allowed to reproduce. Okay. Yeah, it did happen while you were engaged, and while we were engaged, and while you were pregnant, and I absolutely regret that. Excuse me. That is something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. That is something that I regret deeply. That's something that I truly question myself as to why I did it, why I could hurt you like that. But you're not going to sit here and say that it's my demon baby and that I should never be allowed to reproduce. And she added as a little sub-note that she is the one who got rid of it and leaves it at that. So, first off, that baby would be more fucked up from you, Sharon, and all your mental and physical whatever you want to call it, than it would be from me and my small list of stuff. But off of that note, you didn't get rid of it. If you want to bring it there, I'll bring the whole story to light, and that's for a whole nother video. But just to leave it at what it is, in the simplest of terms, we talked about it for a while. I wanted to keep it, she wanted to keep it. We were going to keep it. And then things kept going back and forth and back and forth. She wanted it, and then she didn't. She wanted it, and she was ready. I don't feel like I'm ready. I don't think we can do good enough. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then eventually she decides, okay, I don't think we can do this right now. I'm not completely for that stuff, but given the time, given the circumstances, and everything that had happened, I was okay with that. But we needed the money. I didn't have it, she didn't have it, and we were running out of time. So I had to end up borrowing a little over $400 from one of my friends who desperately needed it more than I did. And I told him, me and you agreed, Sharon, that we would pay it back to him. That never happened. She claims that she did everything. I feel like I did more than you did with that. I mean, I got you the money for it. Yeah, granted, you got the ride up there, but I went with you. I went to support you. I paid for it. I argued for keeping it, but that didn't work now, did it? No, it didn't. Why? Because little Sharon can't make up her mind. And that I shouldn't be allowed to reproduce? I don't think you should ever be allowed to touch children, yet alone have them. Because, that's how fucked up you are, genuinely. Truthfully. I think you're so fucked up you shouldn't be allowed to be around kids. He doesn't know why he did it, she says. And she recalls parts correctly, but emphasizes autopilot remark that I made. I'll say it. I said it then, and I'll say it again now. I don't know why I did it. I truly don't. It was 1 minute I was there thinking, normal thoughts. I was on the toilet taking me a shit, easy as can be. And then next minute, I look down at my phone, I'm sitting in front of the mirror, and, snap was sent. I regret it a lot. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know why I did it. I'm not going to sit here and make false claims. Oh, I did it because this. I did it because that. I don't know why I did it. I've thought about it since the day it happened. I do not know. And she says that I compared that little blackout to her CTPSD and trauma. Huh? I called it a little blackout. And I remember calling it, relating it to my stuff, saying how, how people zone out and shit. Maybe that's what you were getting it from. That me and you both zone out, and that we both kind of just lose track of time or lose track of where we are. But I never sit there and said, oh, it's kind of like your CPTSD. Nah, no. I might have said it was like mine, your trauma at times, but I never sit there and downright pointed out what it could be. And she said that after the fact, that I was committed to the bit, and that I just kept sticking by my story for a year or more. And I told her that you'll never understand. Oh, you'll never understand. And it's true. I did stick by my story because she won't understand. I don't know why I did it. Like I said, though, I did say half-truths. I wasn't telling her the full story back then. But the full truth now, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why I did it. And she's not going to understand that because she thinks that, oh, I know why I did it. I have the answer for it. I don't know what she thinks other than that. But she also said, oh, I have bad memory from my concussion, trying to make fun of me. I do. I had a concussion a couple of years ago. Me and my brother were playing basketball. We butted heads, and I got hit right here above my temple. I went to the hospital. They told me I had a severe concussion. I was supposed to be out of work, school, and everything for 3 months. I didn't stay out but for like 2 days because I couldn't go without my phone back then. That was when I was like 16, 17, whatever, in my games. But that did mess up my memory. That did mess up a lot of things with me. And I'm smart enough and honest enough to give that partial credit. I'm sure me gardening probably hasn't helped much, or, just me having a horrible attention span / memory. That definitely doesn't help either. But I do know that my memory was way better before that concussion, and I know that after it, it went to shit. So you're not going to sit here and weaponize my concussion, an injury that happened to me, because if you want to weaponize things, I got a whole list on you. I mean, I still remember some of the shit, some of the papers that I saw. I can weaponize a lot, but I don't want to take it there. I want to be peaceful, I want to be honest, but Sharon's really starting to push my buttons with this. And she wants to finish it off. She finished it off by saying that I was a raging porn addict, and that she wasn't surprised when she went through my phone and found shit. Back then, I did have that addiction, and it's something that I struggled deeply with. It was mainly before my and her relationship, but it somewhat carried into the relationship. I had worked on it a lot, and it wasn't as bad, but it was definitely still there. But she says she was suspicious when she wasn't surprised when she went through my phone and found shit. I'd like to know what you found, because I really don't know what you're talking about with that one. She said she went through my phone, found all sorts of stuff, but she wasn't surprised. What'd you find? 'Cause, I deleted all the text messages between me and that one person. I don't believe I had any screenshots. There was obviously the stuff that you went through my Instagram, found me liking people's posts. Some of those, I was in the wrong. Some of those, she horribly overthought it. I didn't have really much on Snap, maybe except for people added that she didn't like. Messenger, the same, a couple conversations she didn't know about, a couple people she didn't like. There wasn't really much of anything that she found. But that was her rendition of the cheating story, and I just wanted to come by and correct it and let everybody know the truth. And I know a lot of you are probably going to think I'm a shitty person, and that's completely fair. I deserve that. That's okay. I just want everyone to know that I'm here to speak the truth, whether it makes me look bad or not. I want people to know I regret this. I still do. And if I could change it, I would. I have changed the way I love. I have changed the way I talk to people. I've changed the way I do everything, even social media. And yes, that put me back a lot, but I learned from it. And I wouldn't say I forgave myself, but I understood that I made a mistake. And I know that I can't change it. So now I just have to learn from it and use it as a lesson. And that's what I've done. Ever since that happened, I've stayed loyal to everyone I've talked to. You know, I haven't been in a relationship since then. It's been over a year now. And I've stayed single. You were in a relationship like a week after I kicked you out. So that shows, that should also show, you know, who was really fighting for the relationship and who wasn't. Because I didn't even start talking to anybody until like 2 or 3 months after. And I still haven't been in a relationship with anyone. I've just had 2 people that I talked to. So, there's the truth. There it is. And stay tuned for part 4, I guess. I mean, it is what it is, y'all. This was Cosmic Revelations. Until next time.